Hey, welcome to The Guide. I'm Yo.
And I'm Will.
And it's cold. And that's why I'm staying indoors playing a really big, really long game.
I've been wondering why I haven't been seeing you at all lately, and I think it's because you've just been totally engulfed with Assassin's Creed 3.
I have been to the Revolutionary War, and I am trying to forge the fate of a nation. It's pretty epic stuff.
Sounds pretty important.
It is pretty important. Now, for those of you who maybe haven't played other Assassin's Creed games, don't worry about it. You can jump into this one, and quite honestly, the overarching story from the past games, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even make any sense, so don't worry about it. That's not why you're playing this game. You're playing this game to see the Revolutionary War from a different perspective. And now, of course, it's not historical in any sort of reliable sense, but it does provide some interesting insights to the events of the Revolutionary War.
And it roughly follows the same timeline of major events.
And it's just a lot of fun. It's kind of a lot of fun to participate in history.
Well, even if you're not participating in the main storyline, there's still so many side missions.
There's so many side missions. There's naval warfare, which is awesome.
Shooting some cannons.
Yo, man, it's so fun. I can just, that's like a whole nother game. Like, I could just do that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then there's like hunting. There's this robust economy. You can recruit your own assassins and send them out onto missions.
Wow.
You can help liberate sections of Boston and New York. There's just tons to do, and then of course all the main missions as well. Now, it was interesting because the start of the game, a lot of people have talked about how it starts a little bit slow, and I'll grant that it does start slow, but it does a great job of like establishing characters, establishing the setting, and putting certain elements of the narrative into place.
Well, it is a story-building game,
Yes.
and when you're playing something this expansive, you're going to have to expect it to take a little bit to, lay down the foundation for the rest of the game.
And there's a lot of game mechanics, so like the first 3 hours kind of serves as a lengthy tutorial, which might seem a little dull, but it's useful because there's so many things to master to truly become an expert assassin. So I appreciated that. And it had a great twist. And again, I haven't followed the series all the way through, but I still caught the twist, and I thought, I did not see that coming. That was awesome. So it's definitely worth playing through, and then you get to all the good stuff that you've seen in the trailers and the TV commercials. But just know, it takes a while to get there, but it's worth it. Now, gameplay-wise, the series hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, this one has a new engine, and it looks spectacular, but it needs some refinement. There's some clipping issues and some other graphical glitches. Like, one time I came into this area where kind of like the Animus spawned everything, and it spawned these horses at their feeding trough, except one of them was standing like up on the trough. I'm like, well, that's random. How did that happen?
Bad calculations.
Yeah. So and like I said, there's some clipping issues and other things. And then riding a horse through the forest is fun, but apparently there's a lot of places horses can't or won't go. So you might find yourself getting stuck on horseback quite a bit, which is kind of frustrating. But and so there's some of those issues that are still present in the game. Combat-wise, they've kind of revamped it a little bit. There's definitely a lot smoother, fluid animations to it, but it's not like on the level of like Batman Arkham City.
Right. Yeah.
But you still pull off some pretty crazy, amazing moves. It's still kind of annoying though when you have like a bunch of guys around you and they all just stand there.
Oh, it's the one-on-one.
And then one of them comes in. Like at least in Batman Arkham City, it had a little bit of that, but you still had like 3 or 4 guys coming at you at once.
Well, because this is the Revolutionary War, it should be all in,
And they all have muskets, but they still just stand there. But still, the combat is a lot of fun, if pretty simple. The free running has been improved a little bit as well. They got new animations for that. It flows really fluidly, but again, you still have some of those same problems where you jump off an edge that you didn't really mean to, or you try to climb up a cliff or a wall, and you're not quite in the exact right spot, so you just run up and fall down, run up and fall down, run up, and then you like move like half a millimeter. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So it has some of those issues, but it's still great. So those are some frustrations. There are some rough patches, but this is a huge game working on a brand new engine, and so I think the way it comes together as a whole as a package, it's easy to overlook those flaws and appreciate it for the scope and magnitude of the type of game that it is.
Yeah, and especially just the quality and amount of gaming that you're going to get from it too, because
it's tremendous. And we
Yeah.
haven't even talked about multiplayer. You got a whole multiplayer section in it.
yeah,
which
this is the first Assassin's Creed to incorporate that too.
No, they've had it in some of the previous ones, and
But they kind of revamped it
They
though,
did revamp
and they
it.
made it a lot more fluid, I think.
it's a different experience. My friend got frustrated because, like, if I wanted to wander through a crowd looking for someone, I'd go to the mall. But that's kind of like what the multiplayer is. You're looking for a target. You're blending into the crowd, trying to hide from other people who are hunting you. It's a different, interesting type of multiplayer.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but you definitely have to have a different mindset for it. Then there's a co-op mode as well. I miss the fact that you can't free roam like you could in Red Dead Redemption. Remember how you could have like friends join you? You could like go hunting,
Yeah.
or just ride through the Old West.
Which, especially given the layout, the level map of this, they would allow for that
It
because
seems so similar.
there's so many things you could do.
Right, but you don't have that option, and
Yeah.
I miss that. And talking about the whole history of it, it's all about the Templars and the Assassins and who's shaping the fate of the, this burgeoning country.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. They're not too far off because there is a force behind the scenes that's guiding history. It's not Templars, it's not Assassins, it's God.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to call history his story, which is kind of an oversimplification of his involvement,
Yeah.
but it's true. He guides the fate of nations. So, Assassin's Creed 3, I would give it a solid 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
I mean, it has rough patches. There are some things that don't quite click. It's not as refined as it could be, but it's a huge game.
Yeah.
It uses new technology. It uses well. It looks gorgeous. It has great voice acting. It tells a compelling narrative for the most part. The whole future stuff with Desmond and the end of the world, I don't get. And fans might be kind of disappointed with the ending of this one. Like, what? We waited 3 games for that? But as a complete package, it is really, really compelling. However, it is an M-rated game. It is bloody. It is pretty brutal.
It's a war game.
It is a war game.
yeah.
And Connor uses a lot of bladed weapons for his assassinations and his combat, so it gets messy. So take the M rating seriously.
Yeah.
But it's not to the extent where it's glorified, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
using deadly weapons.
they-
They're shown that way.
Yeah, they try and portray a somewhat realistic sense of what could have happened back
Some
then.
of it is a little more gory than it probably needs to be, but yes, there's a lot of bloodletting in the game. Keep that in mind. A few suggestive themes as well sprinkled throughout. But for the most part, it's trying to ground it in reality, and sometimes reality is gritty and grimy. But yeah, so 6 out of 7 for Assassin's Creed 3. We have an expansive review of it at our website, so be sure to check that out.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Game and Movie Guide, and of course, everything is at our hub of GameAndMovieGuide.com.
And we'll have more reviews for you soon, so I hope you'll come back and check them out.